Yeah, of course you're on frame.
Now we're live. You don't need a press pass here.
Oh, I know I don't need it.
Okay. I do want to share this. Since we have a few minutes.
Press release.
Yes. This is a very tame press release. This is about a scholarship for the Youth Advisory Commission Summit. Whitney Councilmember Amy Teal is pleased to announce 3 civics scholarship openings for high school students in the Whitney ISD area. Scholarship recipients will attend the Texas Municipal League's statewide Youth Advisory Commission Summit in Cedar Hill, Texas on Saturday, January 31st. From the www.yacsummit.org. While the summit has a serious mission of educating, inspiring, and empowering, it is also built for fun. The event will push attendees to their maximum potential with skill-building workshops, inspirational speakers, multiple networking opportunities, and more. Scholarships will be awarded to winning essays. The topic for this scholarship is the Texas Open Meetings Act, educating young people about the importance of open government principles. The deadline for scholarship applications is December 31st, 2025. Scholarship applications can be picked up at the Lake Whitney Public Library, I need to drop them here, or found online at tinyurl.com/YACWhitney. Transportation and meals will be provided for Saturday's schedule of events. Applications are open to all high school level students ages 14 to 19 who reside in the Whitney ISD area. Scholarships are generously provided by American Dream Industries in Whitney, Texas. And on the back is the Civics Essay Prompt, the Texas Open Meetings Act, TOMA, educating young people about the importance of open government principles. Deadline, December 31st, 2025. Maximum essay length, 1,000 words. Submit completed essays and parental consent forms to amy.tealforliberty@gmail.com. And the prompt is summarize the key points of the Texas Open Meetings Act and explain why the act is crucial for a functioning government. Explain who is affected and how. Discuss the importance of the act for democracy. Describe common violations and their consequences. And then include A or B below in your essay. A, identify an event or issue where open government meetings helped advance the cause of justice. Explain how this government transparency made a difference in the public's understanding and how people were held accountable for their actions. Or B, identify a significant breach of open government meetings, penalties incurred, and how the situation was resolved. And there's a little bit more about where to find more information. The Office of the Attorney General, they provide a handbook, a training video, AG opinions, and can answer questions if you want to give them a call or email. Texas Municipal League, this organization has a handbook on the act that can provide a deeper understanding of the Texas Open Meetings Act. And Texas statutes, the actual text of the law can be found in the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. So these are here. I'll leave some at the library front desk too. And they're online. I'll put them on my website, on my Facebook page. I'll make sure I've got. Yes, that's everybody. The whole room.
Oh, I didn't.
Shame on you.
Just want to make sure. I have an extra. Do a fine job scrambling. I'm trying. I can tell you right quick. She's got a deal. I didn't know. Let's see here. Up there. Yeah. She ain't gonna do it. Yeah. Yeah, we got a great nephew there. It's got collected in
For anybody that cries tonight.
well, the top ball players in Oklahoma and Texas. And he's in after that game.
Nice, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't blame you.
Yeah. We'll be
I'll
gone.
have to find somebody else.
Actually, they got there every week. What, can I do that?
Can you tell my trailer?
Sure.
I know, I'm in.
He will.
City of
There
Whitney.
he is. You're gonna be in it.
Mark played the role.
Yeah, I realize she's got every weekend already scheduled until after Christmas, and she doesn't even realize it.
It's not that hard to do, to prepare you.
The next weekend, we got Christmas out of town with our family,
That close.
with her family.
Hey, in my defense, I have her a driver for her trailer, but that person is not available anymore, and it's because of the zone.
This weekend, I was told we're out of town.
And then they got their little lights up top.
And I got all my other things to do. I'm having to figure out how to work on the two trailers.
I don't know when she's going to
In
do
my
the
birthday.
Christmas.
Thing last night.
In the front. Well, that's why you call
Turned
it
that lights up and went looking for
online shopping.
That's easy, that's all. It's really easy. You just have them deliver it to your doorstep.
Have to order those.
In my front.
That's the least of my worries.
Next Saturday, next weekend,
This
until
is
after the
a
first of the year.
big emergency council. This, last time this thing was passed.
And some of my weeks.
6 o'clock, call the meeting to order.
Roll call, Amy Teal.
Here.
Vicki Wilson. Here. Valerie Pickup.
Here.
Chris Nance.
Here.
Cheryl Taylor West is absent, we have a quorum.
103, invitation. Eternal God, I pray that you bless us in this meeting and keep us. Lord, make your face shine on us and be gracious to us. I pray that we feel your presence during this meeting because you are with us wherever we go. I pray that this meeting focuses upon you and your plans for us as a body of believers. Let our actions in this meeting be valuable to our aim, which is to build up and edify one another. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one, indivisible.
195, public comments and receipt of petitions. At this time, anyone will be allowed to speak on any matter other than personnel matters. Any matters not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere on the agenda or matters under litigation for a length of time not to exceed 4 minutes. No council, board discussion, or action may take place on a matter until such matter has been placed on an agenda and posted in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551.042. We'll go in at 6:01. Our first speaker is BZ Watchdog. If you can approach the podium, your name and address, please.
I'm sorry, could you repeat some of that? I didn't hear what you said there at the end.
Just to approach the podium and state your name and address.
The address, I'm gonna go ahead and invoke my Fourth Amendment rights and not give it out. Since we are live, I don't wanna give out my address on the internet. Wow, I really thought this was gonna be bigger. I guess the key players I was gonna focus on tonight aren't really here. So, I'm back by big demand. Everybody wanted me, now y'all got me, and now nobody's here. It's funny how that works. I spoke to Mr. Nance briefly before this meeting started. I'm all for the Axion camera. The only concern that I had that I addressed to him, I've also addressed it to Ms. Deal, is why didn't we apply for grants? I checked with them today. It includes the redaction tool, which helps with transparency. It allows people to get access to the body cams if they do request it. I'm all for the cameras. I'm just surprised you guys are trying to use taxpayer money instead of trying to get some of that money from somewhere else. That's free money. It just, the checklist you have to follow up of, a lot of it comes out to body worn camera policies and things like that, just to ensure that it's being used in the right place and it's regulated and that it's not being abused. So I'll get off of that. I'll move on to the other thing. I'm still curious because I've got the records. I finally messed with Ford enough that they're not here tonight. Someone cut my mic? Okay. Sounded like it got cut for a second. Messed with Ford, they're not here tonight. It's surprising because of all the records requests I've gotten in the last couple of 24 to 48 hours. That sign, those signs in the school zone, no ordinance passed, no time ever really established. The signs are not in compliance with TxDOT. I believe it's TMUCTD. I can't remember the acronym off the top of my head. I'm just going to call it TxDOT. They're not. So basically, Mr. Hathaway and his troops don't have authority to enforce any of that. Those are unlawful signs. They're not regulated. So anybody that he pulls over there, you don't have jurisdiction in your court. You cannot write a ticket. You cannot enforce. I want to know who authorized those time changes. According to Mr. Gribble's correspondence with her, according to her, it was changed the day before Mr. Larry Farmer's incident that we all know about.
Excuse me.
We can't.
That's fine, Ms. Teal. Okay, between Mr. Gribble and Ms. Teal, I communicated with her because I wanted to know what date those were changed, because I still have not had confirmation with records requests that are being delayed. With that being said, there's no regulation. I got Mr. Larry Farmer's ticket right here. He was cited for failure to yield a right-of-way. Usually that only happens when there's a car accident or a severe hazard that runs somebody off the road, not because a cop gets upset. And there's no proof of it. The dash cam wasn't working. That's reasonable doubt in court. Should have never been written a ticket. He was also given a warning for a wrong way on one way, which is unlawful. And then I go look at Mr. Tillman's other stops in that school zone. They're all warnings. How come Mr. Larry Farmer got cited? Oh, because Mr. Tillman's feelings got hurt. That was feelings enforcement, not law enforcement that day. That should really be looked at seriously. You guys should actually put some pressure on Mr. Hathaway here to open an internal affairs investigation into that and investigate that properly on why that was done and why everyone else for speeding in a school zone has received warnings. I think that's more dangerous than turning left on that 22 route. How much more time do I got there?
It's 4 minutes. It's 4:07 actually.
I'm sorry?
4 minutes, 7 seconds.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I was trying to give you a little more since it was.
Well, this kept acting up, so I don't know what's going on with this mic.
Thank you. Ron Helms?
I can continue on my notes.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay. What's up, people?
Good evening, Council. My name is Ron Helms. I am here on behalf of the Italy, Texas News and Transparency Foundation. Part of our mission is to advocate for lawful, transparent government processes under the Texas Open Meetings Act. Tonight I want to address the executive session items posted on your agenda. Under TOMA, executive session is only allowed for specific statutory purposes, and the notice must identify the subject. For example, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, or Section 551.074, discussing personnel matters, or to hear complaints about personnel, in my opinion, is not sufficient notice. However, I'm not an attorney, so my opinion doesn't carry much weight. Fortunately, I have a document I'd like to submit to the council to support my opinion. This is Texas Attorney General Opinion, KP-0475, dated October 2nd, 2024, from Ken Paxton. It explains that the boilerplate statutory listings without the actual subject matter do not meet the notice standard under the Texas Open Meetings Act. So I'd like to provide this document to the council. Do you have rules of decorum saying I can't approach the dais? Italy likes to try to arrest me for doing that.
You're good. We do.
Okay.
Just don't find this.
Yes. You the mayor?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And before I proceed, I have a question on a matter of fact, which you can respond to. Who is the clerk recording minutes tonight? And what is your name, ma'am?
Christy Fuller.
Okay, Christy, please ensure the minutes reflect that Ron Helms from Italy, Texas News has delivered AG opinion KP-0475 to the Whitney City Council. So to demonstrate the issue, one of your agenda items tonight is simply, quote, consult with attorney, end quote. About what? Litigation? A contract? Unapproved school zone stickers? You also have, quote, discussing personnel matters or to hear complaints about personnel, end quote. Which personnel? The janitor? Police chief? So, as written, the agenda would theoretically allow consultation about the very document I just handed to you, even though that's obviously not the intended topic. If a posting is broad enough to cover something clearly outside the intended topic, it isn't really notice. So this is why the law demands specific language for topics up for discussion. This applies to the agenda posting for both open and closed session items. Given that the Attorney General has ruled that this format is insufficient notice, I asked that the City Attorney, who I thought was going to be here tonight, advise the Council whether proceeding with closed session tonight could expose the City to legal risk. If so, I recommend the executive session be postponed and reposted with the required subject description. This is a straightforward compliance issue. Correcting the agenda language protects the City, protects the Council, and preserves the public's right to know what matters are being discussed. And in closing, I would just like to clarify something someone brought up in a October Council meeting regarding the Public Information Act and public records requests. You are not mandated to send everything to your attorney. You're actually supposed to have a public information officer that is trained in redacting private and sensitive information, personal information, and then complying with the public. For example, I just received bodycam footage of my arrest from the Madera County Sheriff's Office, and guess what they didn't do? They didn't send it to their attorney and get that footage back within 48 hours, actually. So just for the record, your costs for records requests are your own doing. Thank you.
I'm going to touch briefly on several things that have been disturbing to me. The first one I'm going to address is the Grinchfest. First of all, I don't know why it's so late in the year for them to be requesting to have the Grinchfest on the 13th, and they're actually asking for it on the 4th. I would like to remind City Council that the Chamber has not, to my knowledge, cleaned up the mess that they left from the last time that they closed down the streets and had, what is it called? Pioneer Day. Yeah, Pioneer Day. So that mess was never cleaned up, and I don't think that they have paid the city what they were supposed to pay for the EMS, the police, whatever the city used for them to have the Pioneer Day. The second thing that I would like to bring, and this is something that has been worrisome to me, is we're in a Christian nation. There's over 20 churches that advertise in this area. But instead of being a city of Christian principles, we're celebrating a little green creature running around at Christmas every year. It's not that the Grinch stole Christmas, the Chamber stole Christmas. And I'd like for the Chamber to give it back to Whitney. It is the season, and Jesus Christ is the reason. And I think the city deserves to share that and celebrate that at Christmas time. The Lakelander, I don't guess that they're here tonight, but I want to make sure that they understand that they're being able to manipulate words and change meanings of things that happen at these council meetings. It's not appreciated, and that a lot of people are aware of it, and we would like the truth to be told instead of them manipulating everything in favor of the city. And I understand that it's the city's authorized newspaper, and it probably has that is probably one of the reasons that they protect the city instead of telling the truth about what actually happens in here. There's been issues about the water. There's another thing with CNS. They still are not in compliance. Everybody else went directly to comply with the ordinance. And actually, Mrs. Pinkring, who owns the building, actually goes out and puts that stuff out herself. I also know that she and her husband contributed to the mayor in her run for office. So I don't know if there's special treatment for them, but it certainly seems to appear that way. I would be hoping that we can be assured that this retaliate and award system is going to be stopped at some point in time. We have a couple of people that have come before this council, and I don't think that they've gotten proper answers. One being Janice Strange and the other one being Dennis Castor. I think that anybody in this city that has a problem should come to this council and get answers. Do I have any time left?
Thank you.
Can I pass my remaining 30 seconds to her?
No,
Can you make a motion to give her a little more time?
no, that's fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Janice Strange?
Good evening, council. I'm here tonight to give an update on our ongoing water meter situation and to respectfully request transparency for all residents of Whitney. First, I want to acknowledge the communication we received today from Chris Brennan regarding a mechanical meter. We appreciate that Mr. Brennan is actively working to obtain a meter quickly and is keeping us updated as he waits for confirmation from that supplier. We are cooperating fully with the city and we want this issue resolved just as much as the city does. We're ready for the new meter, we're grateful for the updates, and we will continue working with everyone involved. However, while we wait for this new meter, there's a broader issue I believe the public deserves to be aware of. Recently, I requested that the city add the SEPFO website to residents' water bills. I understand that the city has stated they need to check with Edmunds GovTech to determine how many characters the bill can accommodate. I hope to hear an update on that situation soon. My concern, and the concern many residents share, is that SEPFO is a third-party platform that collects water usage, meter data, and customer information. I feel the public has a right to understand what data SEPFO collects, how that data is stored and shared, whether the city audits that information, and how residents can verify accuracy if something appears wrong, like in my situation. At the last meeting, I spoke about how there was no tech support at SEPFO. I've still sent several messages and received no response. I would also like to acknowledge how the water department operates when it comes to requesting my own data. That shouldn't be going through a lawyer. It's extremely unnecessary, expensive, and time-consuming. It's also a water secretary's job, and the fact that I have to do a public information request for my own data is very odd. In our own case, we were billed for over 515 million gallons, 515,000 gallons of water in 2 years on a meter that was later removed. That replacement meter installed on November 7th began spiking within a matter of days. I pointed this out and was pretty much told, too bad, you have to pay what the water meter says. Yesterday, I was billed for using 1,200 gallons of water, when in reality, we use 200 a day max. These kind of inconsistencies raise reasonable questions for residents. I want to make something very clear. I'm not here to accuse anyone of wrongdoing. I simply believe that residents deserve clarity and transparency about the systems involved in tracking and billing water usage. We are cooperating, we are waiting for the new meter, and we appreciate the communication we received today from Chris. The public still needs transparency when third-party systems are considered for use, especially those systems that hold our billing information. So my requests tonight are simple. The city provide a clear public explanation of what SEPFO is, what data it stores, and who controls or audits it. That when the city adds that SEPFO link to water bills, residents are informed and given a chance to understand that purpose. Communication with residents needs continual improvement. especially when technology or outside vendors play a role in billing. We want accuracy, transparency, and trust, and we want every resident in Whitney to feel confident in how their water usage is measured and billed. I'm not sure what kind of investigating you're doing on your side, but I've spoken at length with utility analysts and CEOs of meter companies, and they both agree there's a software issue based on the insane data it's showing at my residence. I'd be happy to meet with any one of you who is willing to listen to what I've discovered. Thank you for your time.
Teresa Wyatt.
Good evening, council. I just wanted to bring up a thing in regards to the Grinchfest. I know during Pioneer Days that the council had to vote about the chamber reimbursing the city for expenses. And I just did a little investigation and I looked into our city's articles and other special events, 4.11, 0.004, it states all permittees, regardless of nonprofit status, shall reimburse the city for expenditures for the services of the policeman, fireman, EMS, hospital, cleaning of the grounds, damages, and such other costs as the city may incur as a consequence of the event, other than normal customary services provided by the city. So it's already in the ordinance, so it's nothing that y'all actually have to vote on. And the fact that the chamber was so upset and did a post against the city during Pioneer Days is, I think, very wrong, especially when the city and the chamber have been at odds for so long. And the fact that you're Janice, you're the mayor and you're part of the chamber, and just because the city didn't charge you for a few years, you got upset that you were being charged, but the taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for that. You make money on that, and with every event that anybody ever puts on, there's always cost and expense, and the city should be reimbursed. And apparently, you already have it in place where you're supposed to reimburse the city for special events. Thank you.
Non-consent agenda, line item 6, deliberate and act on purchase agreement with Axon Enterprises Inc. in the amount of $16,202.04 annually for 5 years to purchase new body and dash cameras for the police department.
So, I wanted to start, I want to have Interim Chief Hathaway come up and explain this, but before we do get started, I want to be clear about something that we do still have the opportunities to find grants to pay for this. Axon has basically said they don't care how they get their money as long as they get it. We can even give them $5 to start the program as long as we pay them $16,000 annually. So it gives us now until end of fiscal year to seek out alternate funding sources. So before we started with that, I wanted to make that point clear that there are still opportunities here. The reason the agenda language reads like it is because we do have to pay that fee in an annual basis unless we pay for all of it up front. So as it's indicated on this agenda, that's why it's kind of written out that way. It's this much for 5 years if we so choose. But that opportunity is still on the table. Chief Hathaway.
Gonna try to start this, and so Whitney Police Department, we're looking at possibly trying to go with Axon. The system we currently have, we have issues. I mean, we've had issues with it since I've started, and that was 2.5 years ago. So Axon, has been very, they've been very good about keeping in contact with me. The guy that I talked to, Nathan with Axon, he was really, really informative. He actually made up this slideshow for me as well. He was able to get me everything probably within an hour, quotes and everything. We're requesting 7 body cameras for 7 officers, along with 4 patrol cars. So, like I said, y'all have y'all's paperwork there. You can flip through it if you want. So it comes with the Axon 4 camera bundle, quality 7, including cameras, mounts, docks, and cables. An Axon Fleet 3 basic plus TAT, which that's 4 of those. Complete in-car video system with dual view cameras. Axon Evidence, unlimited secure closed storage with pro license and full access. Extended warranty coverage, full hardware protection for 5-year term. Essentially, what he told me is that, let's say one of the guys gets into an altercation, or somehow the body camera ends up broken somehow, he said they will overrun his body camera at no charge to us, and all we have to do is send the broken camera back. So the Pro Series, there'll be 3 people that'll have access to the Pro program. That'll be whoever the investigator is, the sergeant, and the chief. They will have the redaction software with that program, and everything's integrated. So anytime we step out on calls, body camera, in-car videos, even our tasers are Axon, so they will actually activate if we wind up pulling our tasers. So all around, I feel like it's a pretty good deal. He knocked off $25,000, almost $26,000 in total savings just with the package we're getting, and it's Axon's bare bones package just to get us up and running.
Council, I wanted to say that there was a question posed earlier by Councilmember Teal if we've looked at other options, and I want to say that no, Axon's pretty much the industry standard when it comes to these types of things. I wanted to also point out that our Verkada camera systems that we have everywhere at City Hall PD, here at Library, they integrate with Axon, so if there's an incident that's captured on camera on any of it can be imported into Axon evidence for the investigator, so there's already integration there. The Wolfcom camera system that we currently have was purchased under 2 police chiefs ago, and we can't find a lot of information on it. They're struggling at PD to get the information that is rightfully deserved to the citizens, but the cameras, and not necessarily just the body camera, but the way it's stored, they're struggling. Axon's very straightforward. It's a process, the county uses the same thing. The in-car cameras for Wolfcom have never functioned correctly, which I was made aware of after the incident with Mr. Farmer. So we immediately started looking for options. Chief Hathaway immediately got on the phone with Axon. Axon got back to him, as he said, within an hour. So again, yes, it's a big expense. I think in the interest of transparency, this officer and citizen safety, that this is a move that the council should very highly entertain, and we move forward with this. Axon will also come install everything in the cars. That's something that Wolfcom did not do. We had to do that on our own. So they will come down. This package includes them coming, installing the cameras in the cars, getting the software up and running, and everything we need to be functioning, and everything being recorded.
I did try to get a quote with Motorola today, but unfortunately they weren't as customer service based as what Axon was with me. They wanted me to set up an appointment time. They were already booked for today, so I probably would have had to set up an appointment time next week to even get pricing for what we're wanting.
I have a question if you don't mind. Like I said, I've got, did they at least give you a time frame if we pull the trigger on this, how soon we can get everything installed?
So at the moment, he said possibly February. I could try to expedite it. I haven't really talked to him how quick he can get it done. If we can expedite it, maybe sooner. But he said at most, potentially February.
I think I can apply pressure to have that happen soon.
That's true. And like I said, he's worked with me. He's very responsive. He even sent me an email, I think it was yesterday, letting me know, hey, I hope everything goes well at the meeting. Just keep me updated. Sounds good to me.
I talked to Nathan today. He was pretty quick to call me back.
He's a nice guy. Super nice guy.
For far as grants and everything, even if we pull the trigger, what is the time frame that you had to apply for something like this? If you go ahead and pull the trigger to do it and not be qualified for a grant, is there a time frame on it?
All grants have an application process. I don't know what the application award, I don't know what that time frame is, but again, we have until end of fiscal year to pay this $16,202. So that gives us 8 months to seek that out. And, you know, I'd actually already talked to Chief Hathaway about identifying grants before we even made this or got this quote back. One of the places that Chief Hathaway used to work, the chief there is very savvy in grants when it comes to this kind of stuff, so he's already made that connection.
The camera equipment and stuff that we've got now is too cheap to go old. There's no way that Axion can upgrade that and improve on it.
Councilmember Peacock, the two different companies, two different proprietary type of technologies. There's no integration with what we have now to Axon. It's two separate entities in and of itself. The thing is, we have been unable to find any type of documentation. It seems like it was just purchased because that's what that chief liked, without doing any due diligence or research. I think our last chief was trying to approach the Axon cameras as well. We were trying to find sources, and again, I did not have as good of an understanding of the dire situation that was down there until obviously it was too late. But there should not be any potentially there's no integration between those two completely different systems.
So Wolfcom, so I'll give you examples. You know, with our body cams and stuff, our body cameras work fine, for the most part. There has been instances where we go into buildings that, cell data, you lose cell connections, and we've lost videos, because of that reason. You know, also, anytime you upgrade these cameras, I have to go in to a program, I have to make an appointment with Wolfcom, fit their schedule. They call me from California. I don't know how big their company is, but all their tech support's in California. They don't come out to Texas to install or troubleshoot. We're pretty much left to troubleshoot everything, with the assistance of them. Anytime we upgrade, they do major upgrades, I have to upgrade every camera manually. So it's very time consuming. The same thing with the in-cars. I got Officer Brown working on trying to get at least our in-cars somewhat up and running, which they are at the moment, but he'll have to spend quite a few hours because you have to pull the cameras out, you have to take them inside, you have to download them. They do the upgrades there, and then you gotta go put them back in the car, and everything. It's a lot. You know, you pretty much have to take a day just to upgrade camera systems, just with Wolfcom. From what I understand with Axon, everything's cloud-based. So as soon as they send out a major update, it updates as soon as they connect to the cloud. So it's just all around, and like I said, they come out to your department, they'll install the stuff for us. If anything breaks, they'll come out and reevaluate everything, make sure everything's good, and they'll fix it for us. We don't have that capability with Wolfcom at the moment because their whole company's out of California, and they're not gonna fly down here for potentially a little department.
To kind of expand on what you guys said, when we identified that this was a problem, we immediately tried to reach out to Wolfcom to get somebody to help us, and I told him, you press them every day until we get an answer. He had to send a letter authorizing one of our officers to be able to communicate with him. That took 3 days for them to come back and start working with that officer. It's just not an efficient system. It's not good. It's just not good.
So I think you guys have addressed most of the questions that thank you. I think you guys have addressed most of the questions that I had. My biggest thing right now is, I remember with the Mercator thing, there was just not a side-by-side at all of a comparison of anything else that had actual quotes and stuff like that. And from what I see, Axon is a pretty solid company, but at the risk of doing the same thing that the previous guy did of we're getting it because somebody likes it. It seems like it would be prudent to at least give Motorola more than 24 hours to compile some quotes and comparables, and maybe even any other companies out there, just so we can say that due diligence was done in an upfront, transparent matter. I do understand that dealing with old tech that isn't very helpful, can be very frustrating. But is this really an immediate emergency type of decision that needs to be made tonight, or can we put this off, get some quotes and side-by-sides, and figure out a better plan for grant funding moving forward, and table this to the 18th maybe?
Councilmember Teal, that's a council decision. I would encourage you guys to just, every day that we do not have the ability to record, we put our citizens and our officers at risk. And obviously, if this is something that you guys do want to, I know it's just 2 weeks away, that's 2 weeks longer that we don't get this company in, and we don't know what Motorola's ETA or whomever we are. I will say again, Bill County Sheriff's Department uses Axon. We already use Axon tasers, as Chief Hathaway alluded to, so that integrates with that camera. So anytime the taser is deployed, that camera automatically activates. So we already have a relationship with Axon. It seems like from a money standpoint, just a pure fiscal expenditure standpoint, in the grand scheme of things, yes, it's $82,000 or $81,010. If it saves one life, I don't see that that's worth it.
As a leader of civil rights and bodycam and open records guy that I am, I'd like to address a few things. You both have valid points. One.
Can you approach the?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, you can stay right there, because
we can share it.
Share it with me. That's fine. I won't shake your hand because I know you don't like that. But it's gonna stay every time. So with Axon, Billy's right. Bill County uses it already. She's right. Motorola Solutions is the next competitor of Axiom. I prefer Axiom. The only problem is the cost. Usually Axion is a lot more. Now, the reason they cut him the break is to try to secure the deal and keep it under $100,000 so we don't have to go through a procurement with having to look at 2 or 3 other companies mandatory by state law. That's how we got around having to go and shop. And I understand that getting them in there now is because, like with this Larry Farmer incident, it's a liability issue for the city getting sued. If Larry Farmer hadn't gone down and could not contest it and paid the fine, he got grounds for a civil rights act lawsuit. The dashcam didn't pick up any of his infractions. Good luck finding anybody to prosecute that. There's no evidence. There's reasonable doubt, and it's a he said, she said thing. And without evidence, the victim has rights. The subject, the defendant, whatever you want to call them, has rights. So, like Billy says, every day that you don't fix those cameras on the road and pull somebody over, it's a liability for him, his safety, citizen safety, and a liability for the city having to write the check for civil rights lawsuits and violations. So,
I agree with you.
Hold on, say that again.
Yeah.
I agree with it.
I agree with it.
I'm going to tell you right now, most officers hate me because I put them on blast. Okay? That's because they're usually screwing up. But here's the thing. It allows transparency, because if someone wants it, you redact the information that the Attorney General requires to put it out there. That's why I asked him, how soon can we get it in? Because when did you find out about his dash cam not working?
It just wasn't working at the time. So essentially, what we have to do is, like I was explaining to y'all, the cameras weren't updated, so we had to go in and try to get them working again and getting them all updated again. And like I said, it takes time to get those updated because the Wolfcoms, they're not user friendly when it comes to that stuff. Axon, it's a big company. It's one like you said, it's an industrial standard. It's just a good company. So
We're not under contract with them or anything at this
Not
point.
that I'm aware of. This was a huge purchase.
We found no contract.
Found no contract. If I recall, we just purchased their product.
Like a burner phone.
Yeah.
Well, that was before
I
my
think that's what he did. I think he purchased the product, if I remember right.
And the one thing Motorola Solutions, by the way, is gonna do is they're gonna make you buy the add-on. They don't have a bundle pack. Like I said, I spoke with Nathan Williams myself today. Chief Appleway, acting Chief Appleway, you haven't been sworn in. Is unaware that I spoke with Nathan Williams myself. These are questions that I had. I did my due diligence for about 3 hours today before I came up here to make sure that included redaction software of some sort. He's right, Hill County, I got body cam footage yesterday from Max. I just hit the little download button. She never redacted anything over there before. It only took her a few hours to learn it, thanks to me, because she sends everything to the prosecutor, so she doesn't need redaction tools. But Motorola Solutions is probably gonna run you about 90 grand. And Get AC, Get TAC, whatever you wanna call it, that's your third company. Again, I'm looking at quality, because if they were trying to charge him 100 grand, I'd say yes, let's shop it around. I don't think anybody's really gonna beat that price, but if we go ahead and pull the trigger on the dollar amount, at least while we're getting grant money, it also gives us time to shop with 2 other companies. It'll give us, let's pull the trigger and say, yes, let's approve the money. Anything over it, we don't wanna go with. Anything under it, we'll just look at that option and save some money.
A request for public comment? I'll be really quick, I
May
promise.
I make one comment really quick to your point? We do not know if any of the other companies are gonna allow us to have a 5-year payment program. So that's something to consider. It may be like Wolfcom, we had to pay it all up front.
Yeah, I like Axon for the record. I think they're a great company. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
We could all 3 share.
Yeah, I was just trying to be quick, but you know.
Yeah, so I like Axon, I think they're a great company. The only issue is when you spend over $50,000, you do have some legal requirements to get bids, so you need to shop around, get 2 or 3 companies.
They changed that, it's 100 grand.
It's 100 grand now? Oh, okay, well then, awesome. Sometimes we're wrong. Thank you.
Wait, say that one again.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and, make a purchase agreement with Axon in conjunction with trying to get some grants to help pay for this in the meantime.
I will second that, but I'm going to abstain on the vote simply because of my objection to the funding mechanism of property taxes.
Got a motion from Vicki Wilson and a second from Amy Teal. Amy has already motioned that she's gonna abstain from that vote. Vicki?
Yes.
Valerie?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Motion passes to, go ahead and place the bid with Axon and, in conjunction with grants for funding.
Line item 7, deliberate and act on special events application submitted by the Chamber of Commerce for downtown's annual Grinchfest and Christmas Parade, December 13th, 2025, and blocking off of required city streets for the parade at 6 p.m.
Council, Mayor, citizens, I would like to call your attention to the publicly published packet, and you will see that this special events application was received at City Hall September 10th, 2025. This was submitted at the same time as Pioneer Days, along with the same check with the total in it. This application was filed with the check instead of coming to the council as it should have, and I missed it. I'm sorry, I messed up. So I'm bringing it to you tonight because this was as soon as I could get it to you. When we realized what had happened, we'd already had our meeting last month. So we immediately knew we had to get it to you because anytime we close public streets, the council has to approve that action. So to Ms. Wyatt's point, that's why we're waiting so late. Billy Bribble screwed up, put it on the record.
Can we hear that again?
So this should have been brought to you sooner. I apologize. Typically, things like this don't happen. But.
Can you address, if the cost from Pioneer Days has been covered? I did notice that there isn't anything filled out for the police, fire, EMS cleanup and damages and other. But for the sake of transparency, do you know about how many police officers, fire department, EMS events like this are typically running?
So this will probably be less than Pioneer Days, because Pioneer Days is an all-day event with everybody downtown now. This will be going on all day as well, but it's not as large right now as Pioneer Day. So EMS didn't have any costs associated with the Pioneer Days. What you really saw, fire departments volunteers, so we don't have any fire department associated costs. Cleanup was handled by the chamber, so again, there was no cost associated with that. Public Works is putting out barricades, and then your biggest expense is going to be police overtime, mainly for parade security. So during the day, there's not really a lot of overtime. You're going to see our police come in to help with traffic control, probably around 4 o'clock for civilian time. I almost said army time. So they'll come in about 4 o'clock and start with the pre-prep, parade kicks off at 6. They should be out by 7. So you're just looking at what we did with this last one is we billed actual hours worked. When they came in and clocked in, we took that payroll, and that's what was billed to the chamber. So it wasn't anything over or under what was actually worked and what the actual cost to the citizens were. That's what was billed to the chamber.
And the electric, right?
And the electricity.
Just want to make sure everything's.
Yep, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah. And at the risk of having Diane gouge out my eyes, are y'all gonna paint the intersection for Grinchfest? No.
You want to paint it? Do you want it painted?
I'm a big fan of painting it. I know, it still says Pioneer Days.
I will like to say, one of the things that is unique to Grinchfest, and it's a public safety point, is that we close Washington Street down in the morning, and do not open it up until the parade is over. That needs to be made very clear what you're voting on, because we had an issue 2 years ago where we allowed people to park on Washington Street, and then the parade came down Washington Street, and we were about 35 millimeters away from having a kid ran over. So what we did last year is we blocked Washington Street off in the morning to not allow anybody to park on Washington Street for the parade. It was much safer for our children. So this is a night parade, and it's not like Pioneer Day is in the middle of the day. This is night. They have they're going to run after the candy. So we blocked Washington all day until the parade's over. So just so you're absolutely clear, that's what's going to happen again if you so choose.
So you're blocking Brazos and Washington?
That's correct.
Is there a motion? I make a motion that we approve the special events application submitted by the Chamber for Commerce for downtown annual Grinchfest and Christmas parade on December 8th.
And the blocking off.
And the blocking off of the streets of Washington and Brazos all day.
Is there a second?
Second.
Amy,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Valerie,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
all yeses, motion passes.
There is nothing in executive session, so.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Thank you all.
Did you say the next meeting is the 18th?
Yes. Public hearing.
Public comment, 4 minutes?
4 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it, right?
Oh, did you hit stop?
Yeah, okay, let's stop.
You're sitting out here all by yourself.
I did it because it makes sense.
What? Have any of us doing it around.
Water pump systems and.
He doesn't know you guys are like.
Oh, we're going on birthday.
Because they came. They just bow down, that's all they do, you know? I'll agree. I agree. Oh, wait, good morning. So, what about working
Can't do it now.
just because cops don't actually like you.
All right, well, I'm out. He was helping me with top floor.
What's with that gun on your hip, man? Is that an authorized gun?
Yeah, you can't do it.
Looks like a burn.
It works. Like it's awful, dude.
It's got a tan color.
FDE.
Billy, there's authorized those signs, man.
See, because I looked at it and I thought you were having an executive session tonight because of it.
I know it wasn't the PD.
You can put it on the receipt.
I thought you were naked. I'm wearing a jacket. That is not a jacket.
Right, you can't cite, basically you can't cite specific sections for executive session unless you're actually going into executive session.
Authorized.
My mother's asking me.
Those signs are also not R1 approved. Yeah, okay.
Well, then, why is the trash?
See, I'm trying to get that fixed. I know you're using it. Why are you?
Amy? Amy?
Amy.
Yes. Okay, yeah, you can hit stop. Thank you.
Finish.
Bye.